Welcome to NMBR140 Investigative Task by Alexander Irby. This is a cuboctahedron. It is a polyhedron, has 8 triangular faces, 6 square faces, 12 identical vertices, 24 identical edges, and is a member of the Archimedean solid collection of shapes. So what are Archimedean solids? Archimedean solids are a collection of 13 polyhedra that are semi-regular, created by the Archimedes. They are developed from the 5 original regular solids called Platonic solids and include a tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, dodecahedron, and icosahedron. Some of these you may have heard of, most commonly a cube. To identify an Archimedean solid, you need to look for a polyhedron that is either a truncated Platonic solid, truncated Archimedean solid, or a snubbed Platonic solid. Truncated means cutting off the corners of a solid identically, adding a new face to the polyhedron. If a cuboctahedron and icosahedron are truncated, they are still included in this collection. And snubbed means expanding a normal polyhedron, like a cube, which then the faces are moved apart and twists on the centers develop new polygons that focus on the original vertices. Additionally, pairs of triangles are fitted between the original edges of the polyhedron. Archimedean solid name comes from the Archimedes. The Archimedes developed these shapes originally, but had not named them as the work for the development is known as now lost. Pappus of Alexandria and Johannes Kepler both made extraordinary contributions in the rediscovery of these polyhedral as well as naming them. But in 1620, Kepler was the one who had completed this rediscovery. During the Renaissance, people were interested in Archimedean solids mainly because of their ball-like shape, but they mostly didn't find these new shapes interesting at all. The reason they are named Archimedean solids was because even though Pappus and Kepler both made extraordinary contributions of the rediscovery, Archimedes were the original creators of these shapes, so it was only best to name the 13 polyhedra as the Archimedean solids, named after them. Archimedean solids include cuboctahedron, great rhombicosidodecahedron, great rhombicuboctahedron, icosydodecahedron, small rhombicosidodecahedron, small rhombicuboctahedron, snub cube, snub dodecahedron, truncated cube, truncated dodecahedron, truncated icosahedron, truncated octahedron, and truncated tetrahedron. As semi-regular as they are, Archimedean solids can also be found in the real world as well as nature. They may not be as noticeable as other polyhedrons, but they are there. I will be using examples from an icosydodecahedron, truncated icosahedron, and octahedron, as well as a small rhombicuboctahedron. An icosydodecahedron can be seen on a 20-sided die, which are used for games like the popular Dungeons & Dragons. But this 20-sided die has been in existence since the 2nd century BC to the 4th century AD, which had Greek letters inscribed back then, as seen here. You may notice with the truncated icosahedron that it looks very similar to a soccer ball. That's because a soccer ball is influenced by this polyhedron. A soccer ball is used in the professional football leagues as well as a social sporting ball that helps people pass the time. Have you been on one of those playground jungle gym nets before? If you have, then if you look in the center of some of them, the block is usually a truncated octahedron. This is used to support the ropes and nets to keep it standing. A truncated octahedron can also be seen on this ancient Chinese die from the Warring States period, 475 to 221 BC. Lastly, a small rhombicuboctahedron can be seen on many types of objects and in nature. In Mainz, Germany, this street lamp has 8 hollow small rhombicuboctahedrons surrounding each light to create a sense of light when it is dark. This was installed in celebration of the 1,000-year anniversary of the first cornerstone placing of the cathedral. A small rhombicuboctahedron found in nature is this pyrite crystal. Pyrite crystals are minerals which are also known as fool's gold. Hopefully, after this section, you can now identify some of these Archimedean solids in the real world. And now you also know that they are more common than you think, and you just have to look harder to notice them. Thank you.